Good morning, children. Hope you are all fine. You might have enjoyed your holidays, I think so. Okay, now we can enter into our Unit 6. Already we have completed the Unit 6 memory poem. Now we are going to start with supplementary reader. You all enjoy stories, is it? So we can start this new year with a story. Okay? First, we can see the title and something about the author, and after that we can enter into the story. Okay? So the title is The Little Hero of Holland. What's the title? The Little Hero of Holland. Written by the author Mary Mapps Dodge. Written by the author Mary Mapps Dodge. She was born in the year 1831 and died in the year 1905. Born in the year 1831 and died in the year 1905. She was an American children's author. Okay, she had run many children's magazines. Okay, named St. Nicholas, and she had conducted it for more than 30 years. She was very much famous for that magazine, and also she had persuaded great writers of the world to contribute to her children's magazine. Mark Twain, Louisa May Alcott, Robert Louis Stevenson, Tennyson, etc. Okay, so this is something about this author. Now we can enter into our story. Okay, so what's the title of the story? The Little Hero of Holland. Holland, you know, a place. Here, Little Hero of Holland. You are very curious to hear who is that little hero, is it? The name of the little hero is Peter. Okay, here the little hero is Peter. It said that it's a true story. You can hear what the story is. You can hear. This is a true story of a little boy with a brave heart and passionate love for his village. Okay, a great passion and love for his village, and he had saved the village. How he saved his village? We can see that. Okay. Holland is a country where much of the land lies below the sea level. You know, it's a dangerous thing, is it? If the land lies below the sea level, water will easily enter into the land. Is it, ma'am? So, Holland is a country where much of the land lies below the sea level. Only great walls called dikes keep the North Sea from rushing in and flooding the land. Okay, so there are only one hope, that is the dikes. You know what is dike? Dikes is an embankment to control the water entering into the land. Like a wall. Okay, it's a wall. Embankment. Okay, so here this dikes protect Holland from drowning or the water entering into the land. Okay, you might have got a picture. Okay, so it's a seaside area, so the water will easily enter into the land. For protecting the land, what they had constructed? They had constructed a dike. Dike is a big wall. Okay, yes. For centuries, the people of Holland have worked to keep the walls strong so that their country will be safe and dry. So all the people of Holland had worked so hard for many centuries to protect their land from drowning. So now, even the little children know the dikes must be watched every moment. They will be very careful, and always they will be watching the dike. A small hole, that is that a hole no longer than your finger can be very dangerous thing. Okay, even a hole of a finger size will be very dangerous. All the children, even the children of Holland, are also aware of that. That is the main thing. Okay, ma'am? Many years ago, there lived in Holland a boy named Peter. This is our little hero. The name is Peter. Keep in mind, the name of the country is Holland. The little hero is Peter. Okay. Peter's father was one of the men who tended the gates in the dikes called sluices. Okay. So, his father, Peter's father, is one of the men working in the dikes. Okay, he is tending the gates. Okay, so called sluices. What is the sluices? It's a sliding gate. Okay, sliding gate in the sense, if any boat or a ship arrives, the gate can split into two and it will give way for them to move that side. Okay, so it's a sliding gate. Okay, can you imagine? So, to open it and close it, many men will be working there. So, among them, this Peter's father is also one among that. Okay, then he opened and closed the sluices so that ships could pass out to Holland's Canal into the Great Sea. Got it? So, he will be opening and closing the gate. Who? Peter's father. Peter's father will be often opening and closing the gate so that the ship can pass through it. Got it? Yes. One afternoon, in the early fall, when Peter was 8 years old, his mother called him from his play. Come, Peter, she said. So one day, one afternoon, Peter was playing. Okay, at that time, he heard the mother's voice. How? Come, Peter, I want you to go across the dike and take these cakes to your friend, the blind man. Okay, so he had a friend who, Peter, is a blind man. So his mother is telling, and prepare some cake. You can give that cake to that blind man. Okay, where is he? You have to go across the dike. At the next side of the dike, that blind man is living. So you have to cross the dike and you have to go there and give this cake to that blind man. If you go quickly and do not stop to play, you will be home again before dark. If you go fast, if you run fast without stopping here and there for playing, you can reach home before getting dark. Okay, so that's an advice given by his mother before he goes. Okay, he's a little boy, is it? If we are also going or by walk, what we will do, we will be stopping here and there saying this and that. So the mother is advising him, don't stop here and there to play. If you go fast, you can return home before getting dark. The little boy was glad to go on such an errand and started off with a light heart. He was also very happy because he was going to meet his friend, is it? So he was also very happy and he started to go. He stayed with the poor blind man a little while to tell him about his walk along the dike and about the sun and the flowers and the ship far out at sea. So he's a blind man. His friend is a blind man, is it? So he stayed with his friend. Who? Peter. Peter stayed with his friend and he explained what all the beauties he had seen on his way. What are the things he had seen? He was along the dike, about the sun, because he's a blind man. He can just think about that just in his mind. He said he had never seen such things. So he's telling about the sun and the flowers, the ship far out the sea, everything he explained to the blind man. Then he remembered his mother's wish that he should return before dark, and binding his friend goodbye, he set out for home. At that time, while he was explaining all these things to his friends, he remembered about his mother's advice. What did his mother say? You have to reach home before getting dark. So he bid goodbye to his friend and started home. See. As he walked beside the canal, he noticed how the rains had swollen the waters and how they beat against the side of the dike, and he thought of his father's gate. Okay, so now he was walking back, and because of the rain, how the water has swollen that area and how they beat against the side of the dike. Okay, the water will be always rushing. You know how the waves from the sea will hit the wall, is it? All these things he noticed, and he was noticing the father's dike, everything. He was watching and he was moving back. I am glad they are strong. Okay, so I already told you, even the little children were aware of the dikes. So if anything, any hole will be there, it will be a big danger for them. They know that. So all the time their eyes will be like that. If any danger is there, any hole is there, everything they will be keenly watching. Okay, so now he was very happy. Even though the waves are striking very hard against the wall, okay, this dike is very strong enough to stand against that. Okay, so I am glad. What is the meaning of glad? Happy. Okay, I am glad they are strong. He said to himself, if they gave away, what would become of us? These pretty fields would be covered with water. He was imagining, somehow, if this wall, something happened to this wall, what happened? The whole land will be drowning because of water. See, you gave away, it would, what would become of us? The pretty fields would be covered with water. Everywhere to be covered with water. Father always called them the angry waters. Angry water. Why the father is telling the waters are angry? Why the water is angry? Because you know how the sea water will be. The waves always rushing very fast and hitting against the dike, is it? So the father called the waters angry water. I suppose he thinks they are angry at him for keeping them out so long. Why the waters are angry? Because like a jail only they were keeping that embankment, dike, is it? So if the dike is not there, the water can very freely enter into the land, is it? But now they constructed the dike and they are keeping the water back, is it? So maybe the water will be angry. Okay, there is a reason for the angriness of the water, their father is telling. As he walked along, he sometimes stopped to pick the pretty blue flowers that grew beside the road, or to listen to the rabbit's soft tread as they rustled through the grass. Okay, so it's a habit of the children. On the way, if they saw some flowers, they will go and pluck it. Is it? So we can see children, while they are walking on the road, they won't go simply. Is it? They will be do something. Yes, it's a habit of the children. Here what this little boy is doing, he plucks some flowers, blue little flowers, okay, here to the treading of the rabbits, okay, all those things you can see. But often he smiled as he thought of his visit to the poor blind man who had so few pleasures and was always so glad to see him. In between, he smiled. What's the reason for his smile? He think about his blind friend. He was very happy to see his blind friend. Suddenly, he noticed that the sun was setting and that it was growing dark. Okay, so suddenly he noticed that the sun was setting. At that time, he remembered about his mother's advice. You have to come home before getting dark, is it? So now, mother will be watching for me. Mother will be waiting for me there at home, he thought, and he began to run towards home. Okay, till that, what he was doing, he was stopping here and there, plucking flowers, all those things. When he saw the sun is setting, what he do? He rushed towards home, he ran. Just then, he heard a noise. It was the sound of trickling water. While he was running, he heard a noise. What was that noise? It was the trickling. Trickling means the flow of water, okay, the sound of the flowing water. He heard from where the sound arises. He stopped there. He stopped and looked down. He stopped there and looked down. There was a small hole in the dike. He saw a small hole in the dike. Even a small hole of a finger size will be a dangerous thing, is it? So he know that. So now, through which a tiny stream was flowing. There was a small hole in the dike, and through that the water is flowing out. Any child in Holland is frightened at the thought of a leak in the dike. They are aware of that. Any children, anybody, all children know that. Okay, if a small leak also will leads to a great dangerous thing. Okay, so now Peter understood the danger at once. Even though he was 8 years old, he was very aware of that problem. Okay, he was very much aware of that. So what he do? If the water ran through the little hole, it would soon make a large one. The water was continuously flowing through that hole. Soon the hole will become large, and the whole country would be flooded. Okay, so now in a moment he saw what he must do. Throwing away his flask, he climbed down the side of the dike and thrust his finger into the tiny hole. What did he do? He did not think for the second. All of a sudden, he climbed down the side of the dike and thrusted his finger in the hole, and he was hanging there. What did he do? He thrust his finger into the tiny hole. Now the water stopped leaking. The flowing of the water was stopped. Okay, what did he do? He thrust his finger inside that hole. Oh, he said to himself, the angry waters must stay back now. He was praying. Okay, the angry water must stay back. I can keep them back with my finger. Anyway, whatever happened, I will stay here by keeping my finger inside that hole. Holland shall not be drowned while I am here. If I am alive, I will not allow my country to drown in water. This was all very well at first, but soon it grew dark and cold. Okay, in the beginning it was okay. He was very happy and confident. But he was a little biased. Soon it was getting dark and cold. Now, the little fellow shouted and screamed. He started to make noise. Come here, he called. He was shouting. But no one heard him. No one came to help him. Shouting, come on, anyone, come here, anybody moving here and there. He was calling, come here. But no one heard his voice and nobody came that side. It grew still colder and his arm ached. Because for how many hours a little boy will keep his finger inside and he'll hang on the wall. Now, it began to grow stiff and numb. Began to lose the sensation, okay, because of cold, okay, numb. He shouted again, will no one come? Mother, he started to cry. At least his mother may hear his voice like that. But his mother had looked anxiously along the dike road many times since sunset for the little boy, and now she had closed and locked the cottage door. Okay. At the same time, what the mother was doing, if you are going out of the home for any purpose, till you come back, your mother will be coming and standing near the door and waiting for you. Is it? In the same way, Peter's mother also waited near the door, and she was looking along the dike road many times. After that, she got angry. What did she do? She got closed and locked the cottage door angrily. What she thinking that Peter was spending the night with his blind friend and that she would scold him in the morning for staying away from home without permission. Okay, so mother thought, anyway, this little boy was staying along with his blind friend. Let him come in the morning. Okay, without my permission, he was staying there. I asked him to come before the sunset. But without my permission, he stayed along with his blind friend. Let him come back. I will show him who I am. Like that, she was very angry on him. Peter tried to whistle, but his teeth chattered with cold. Chattered with cold means that is moving up and down like this, making sound. Is it then chattered? He thought of his brother and sister in their warm beds, of his dear father and mother. Okay, now he was thinking, see, I am hanging out here on the wall in cold, but my brother and my little sister will be sleeping on the soft bed along with my father and mother. Like that he was thinking, I must not let them be drowned. He thought, no, if I take my hand and run there, what will happen? My country will be underwater, drowned. So I won't allow. I must stay here until someone comes. If I have to stay all night, I am going to stay here until someone come and help me. Okay, even if I have to stay the whole night, I will stay here, no problem. Like that he thought. The moon and the stars looked down on the child crouching on a stone on the side of the dike. His head was bent and his eyes were closed, but he was not asleep, for every now and then he rubbed the hand that he was holding back the angry sea. Okay, so now his head was bent. Why it was even head was bent? He was tired. His eyes was closed, but it was when the eyes were closed, but he was not sleeping. Now and then he was rubbing his hand. Why? His hand become numb because of cold. So what did he do now? And then he was rubbing the hand. One finger is there, so he just rubbed the hand. Okay, so to get back the feeling, or to make it hot. So now I will stand it somehow, he thought. So he stayed there all night, keeping the sea out. That whole night he stayed there, keeping the sea out. Early the next morning, a man going out to work thought he heard a groan as he walked along the top of the dike. While he was walking along the dike, he heard the mowing sound. See? Looking over the edge, he saw a child clinging the side of the great wall. So the man just leaned and looked down. There he saw this little boy clinging onto the side of the great wall. What's the matter? He called. Are you hurt? Why you are hanging there? So, are you hurt? I am keeping the water back. Peter yelled. Yelled means shouted. Okay. So I am keeping the water back. Tell them to come quickly. Tell all the people to come quickly. The alarm was spread. People came running with the shovels. Shovels means like a spade, okay? Like and the hole was soon mended. The hole. It's O-L-E, okay? The hole was soon mended. They corrected the hole. See, they carried Peter home to his parents, and before long, the whole town knew how he had saved their lives that night. Okay, so the about that little boy, how he saved his country was spread everywhere. To this day, they have never forgotten the brave little hero of Holland. Till now, it's a true story. I said in the beginning itself. They had never forget about this little boy who saved their country from drowning. Okay, this is the little hero of Holland. Hope you understand the story. I think so. Okay. So, your study portion, let me tell you. You have to recall our Unit 6 memory poem. Do you remember what's the memory poem? Yes, no men are for it. It's a whole poem, is a memory poem. Okay, half of that. 10 lines you have to by heart. Okay, ma. So, we can start from Unit 6. From this year. So, Unit 6 memory poem, first 10 lines you have to learn. Thank you, children.